Hey guys, cheers! Has this been a long week for you two? I tell you what, I don't even know what's going on with this week, but it's just kind of gone like, ever have one of those? So anyway, I just wanted to kind of come here and do a vent vlog thing. I appreciate you listening to me and being here and commenting and supporting and loving my channel. It's meant a lot to me, and what is really cool about my channel is that I often see the same people come back. And that tells me, you know, y'all are super supportive and understanding of all the different walks of life I've been in and of everything I have gone through, and y'all respect me as a person, and that really helps me so much with my self-confidence and just doing this channel in general, knowing that it matters to people and it means something. So, wanted to start this off kind of with what happened today, and then I'll tell you a couple of the other things that are just kind of frustrating me right now. So, I did a Poshmark haul for you guys, and I am still going to post it despite what happened. I did mail off 4 packages today. There should have been 5. So, I know you're like, well, where's the other package? One of the items, and I'll tell you which one it was, it's fine, I've already refunded the seller, was the Crown and Ivy new with tag pants. It was a really great purchase. The person did not even make me an offer, they bought it straight out, and the pants were perfect. And I was so happy to send them to her. So, to learn, I think you have to make mistakes. And I have to tell myself that. I have to get over it. I had definitely had a couple of hours there where I was so frustrated. I went and got coffee. I just was so upset that I did this. I was using scissors to cut off a few little tiny strings. Like if there's some little like yarn sticking out or something, I just tweak it. I want to make sure everything is perfect to send to my buyers. Now, I never have thought about looking on the scissors before to make sure there's nothing on the scissors. It just never occurred to me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that kind of has to happen before you realize it could happen. So, I was using my scissors to cut something off, and all of a sudden, like, a spot appeared on the pants, and I'm like, oh no! So my first thought was to get the shout wipes, you know, that get the spot off. I figured it was dirt, and I figured it's going to come right off. It's okay. It's going to come right off. It did not, and I don't know what was on those scissors. I don't know if it was like ink or permanent marker somehow got on the scissors. I have no idea, but it was a black spot, and so my boyfriend tried to help me, and he got the shout wipe and he was like rubbing it, and it turned from like black to being a like white spot, and we even dried him out. We were like hanging him up and looking at it and hoping it would go back to the original color, but we thought maybe it was just wet, that's why it was white. Long story short, I damaged the item, and what do you do? You can't fix it, other than refund the seller. So that's what I did. I went on to Poshmark after it happened, and as painful as it was to not be able to mail those pants out, and I had everything ready, and the package, and the tissue paper, like I had it all ready. I wrote the card out, like everything was perfect, except for the pants, and that's the most important part. So it was a nice card, but it wasn't good enough, you know what I'm saying. So I refunded the seller, and it's just one of those learning moments when you're learning about something. I feel like you have to make a lot of mistakes, and I made a mistake. And because I'm a perfectionist, I take that really hard, and I'm really like, why would I in a million years have not thought of that? But I've never had a scenario where that would happen, ever. And if it happened in my own clothes, I'd be like, oh, whatever, I'll just grab another shirt. You know, this is being a seller and being like somebody who wears clothes and like doesn't think about it are 2 totally different things, because I'm sending it to somebody else. So there was that today. As Crafty Girl would say, there was that. Okay, so let's see what else happened. I went to the doctor yesterday. I made an appointment. It was actually at a hospital, but I made an appointment for, we're just going to call it the stomach doctor. They have really long, crazy names like gastrointestinal. Who names these doctors? Who names this medication? I need to have a talk with them, because I can't remember jack diddly squat about what they talking about. Anyway, we have to go to find a garage, of course. If you're going downtown, you gotta find a garage. That's in and of itself exciting. Then we park, and we realize the hospital is way down the road. I'm not an outside person. Anyway, so we walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. Finally get there. Thank you, Lord. I thought I was going to die and need the hospital. So, I'm going to take a sip of coffee because it just made me feel thirsty thinking about it. And stressed. It makes me feel stressed. Go to the hospital. Of course, my appointment is like at the top of the hospital. You have to look at this list of like where your appointment is, and I'm like looking, we're like, oh, it's way up there. So get in the elevator, we go way up to the top. We're okay. I see a lady in you check in type thing, and I'm just like, I'm okay. There's chairs, we're okay. They don't have my name. They do not have my appointment. They don't know where I am, and they don't know who I'm supposed to be seeing. Silly me made the appointment and didn't even write down my doctor's name. So I was like, you panic a little bit, but I had my phone. I had my cell phone. I had a confirmation of the appointment. Well, that lady didn't know what to do with that. She couldn't find me, and she didn't know I had a confirmation. She had to call her supervisor. Long story short, so I don't keep y'all here till tomorrow afternoon, her supervisor didn't know either. I had to go talk to her supervisor. They were a little bit funny about it. Like, if I didn't have that cell phone, I don't think they would have believed a word that came out of my mouth, as crazy as that sounds. I don't know if people make up appointments. Like, does that happen? I've never thought to do that. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, I had an appointment. So I stuck to my guns, and I'm like, look, I know this sounds really crazy. I don't remember my nurse's name that I was supposed to be seeing, but I have y'all's confirmation. She takes my actual phone to her supervisor. So at this point, we're at 3 chains of command. After the garage, after walking, after going up all the floors. Her supervisor is not sure either, after she has taken my phone for like 15 minutes. I think they wanted to make sure I didn't make up that day. She brings it back and is like, oh yeah, that is from our phone number. I'm like, sure is, because I had a damn appointment. I didn't say that, but you know how you're thinking in your head? You're like, I'm not crazy, So, turns out, after lots of research, lots of questions, she's like, what was your last name a long time ago? Was it ever this? At some point somebody asked me if my dad's name was Ed. I'm like, no, it's not Ed. Anyway, so she got a call on the telephone, and I guess one of her scheduling people asked her, just randomly, finally looked at my appointment time and saw Jenny and then a different last name. And she was like, has your last name ever been this? And it blew me out of the water because it was my dad's last name, and I've only had it for maybe a year to 2 years of my life when I was a little kid. I was born up until maybe I was around 2 years old until it was removed. My mom got a divorce, and I've never handwritten that last name in my entire life. But apparently, because I was born in this hospital, when I made the phone call and I told them my last name, and they confirmed I gave them my new address, somehow that tied me back 30 years to that name. Anyway, long story short, Jenny Blank would not have shown up for that appointment, but Jenny, me, was here and ready to be at the appointment. It was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I arrived there 45 minutes early to go to this appointment, and 45 minutes to an hour later, they were still trying to figure out where I was. So when they did figure it out, I ended up seeing a doctor. I'm being treated for IBS. I know that may be too much information for some of you guys. So, forewarning, I'm going to talk about IBS symptoms a little bit. So stuff I've been suffering from is bloating, stomach pain, feeling sick after I eat, having just a really hard time digesting food, and gaining weight. We're going to leave it there. Y'all get my drift. Y'all know what I'm saying here. So, anyway, I was really happy to have that doctor because she took it seriously. She took me saying I don't have enough money seriously. So a lot of times doctors will push you, and they won't even hear you say I don't have enough money. They don't remember what that means. A lot of people don't. I don't even know if it's their fault. For a long time I felt like it was, and then I'm like, sometimes you get so comfortable you don't remember the level of struggling that can happen to a person, and sometimes you've never experienced that level. So I don't know, but she seemed to get it. She really did. And she was like, I appreciate you telling me that up front. I won't order all these tests for you right now. We're going to try this medication. She sends the medication to Target. Do y'all know how much that medication would have been if I had not had insurance? It would have been $1,500 for 2 weeks of medication. What it does is reset your stomach. It may make me feel ill when I'm taking it, so I'll still record and I'll kind of let you know about my symptoms or what I'm experiencing, because even though it's a really expensive medication, it may or may not work for me. And to think that we would have paid the price of a used car for the medication is... So that in and of itself makes me feel really upset. Not towards her. It's not her fault. But towards, like, you know, people that want to get better. I want to stand for myself. I want to stand for other people that can't afford their medicine, that can't afford medical treatment, that cannot afford mental illness, like help, psychiatry, psychology, counseling, people that need this, DBT therapy. There's tons of different therapies people could be going to. So there's that. Then, I know you're like, oh, Lord have mercy, there's more. Yep, there sure is. I could go on for days, to be quite honest with you, but, oh, goodness. So, this morning, I went to the psychiatrist, and he changed my medication. I have a good psychiatrist. He does listen to what needs to be done. He's very medical. He's very stoic personality. And sometimes I think I find that with male psychiatrists, they're not so emotional, and for some reason, at first I was a little bit like, I don't get your personality, I'm not sure if this is going to work feeling about it, but now it's kind of refreshing to have like an in and out experience, to just be able to stick with my symptoms and him not ask a ton of probing questions. He just lets me talk, and he listens, and we figure out what to do, and I feel like he's on the right track every time I leave there. So what he's doing, he's decreasing my anxiety and depression med that I'm on right now, and he is adding another depression med, which is a good idea because my anxiety med is making me feel really drugged and tired. Like, I just kind of want to sit and stare at a wall tired. I know that sounds nuts, but have you ever taken a medication when you're sick and you just, it like helps you fall asleep, or you just feel like really zoned out? Instead of giving me energy, which I'm supposed to kind of have right now, I don't have it. I don't have it to work. I don't have it to push myself. I feel tired all the time. So I did express all that to him. I told him about the weight gain and my struggle with weight gain. And it all ties together, guys. All this ties together because IBS is like digestion issues, and if you're having problems with your stomach, one thing the doctor pointed out was that you're probably eating a lot of bland foods, and bland foods often tend to be carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not too good for you. And I'd love to say I'm not, but it's confusing because I do eat healthy. I love fruit. I love salad. I love larger portions. I love to feel full. But I think psychologically I feel hungry, and it's not so much physically I feel hungry, so it's hard to separate those. If you're a stress eater, do you know what I'm talking about? Feel free to post below and be like, I got you, girl, like, I understand this, because it's crazy to not be able to determine what you need, basically. But it's not at the same time, because your mind's telling you you need it, but you really don't. So that's the thing. I think it's tough to kind of split yourself in two, to have your mind tell you something. You want to believe your mind. You want to think that your mind is actually telling you what your body needs. But it's almost like your heart is telling you something in you, your spirit, your heart, however you want to refer to that, is like, no. It's like the other voice. It's like the bad demon and the angel. Bad demon and the angel. And the bad demon's like, yes, eat, you're starving. And the good angel is like, no, don't do it, don't do it. It's bad for you, don't hurt yourself. So, this is why I didn't go into acting. Y'all know what I'm saying? But, I struggle with that. And I asked about shopping. Okay, so all you haulers out there, hey, you know, I'm one too. I get you. I feel you. I asked him about that. I said, shopping, does it help give you serotonin like food does? So food makes you feel better, releases serotonin in your brain. He said shopping does too. It releases serotonin. It releases positive feelings within yourself. He didn't go into detail about it, but I was like, you know, like food does similar stuff to me that shopping does. And if I'm not eating, I usually want to be shopping. And my brain has a hard time figuring out what I need to buy versus what I want. Because it starts reasoning and be like, oh, you need this extra notebook, you need this extra pen, because, you know, you don't have enough of those, and you don't have that pattern, and, you know, this one's a different size than the other one, of course you need that one. And I don't need no damn notebooks, I don't need no pencils or pens, I got plenty of them, but it's new, and it causes me to feel good, so a lot of times And y'all, in no way am I saying all haulers are like this. I'm saying this hauler is like this one. I only base my stuff off of my own personal self. I do not want this to reflect on any people that I am supportive of, on any people I don't even know of, anybody that hauls. Everybody has their own story and their own journey, but I have trouble with money because of this problem. So that's why I'm speaking about it. We're already at 15 minutes. So there's that. So if you are a stress eater, you may want to consider, like, notice the next time you're shopping, am I stressed when I'm shopping? And one thing I could say about that is what's really helped me with the shopping area is to not go when I am stressed out. I know it sounds crazy to just eliminate the issue. You're like, why can't I just be around it and just look at stuff? Well, it's kind of like being a drug addict and just going shopping for some drugs. I'm going to go down to the marijuana shop, just see what's new. I do not do drugs. I have never done drugs. I can actually say that. No judgment, but I've never done them. But it's the same thing, because you are putting into your environment what you're hurting yourself with, what feels good, and telling yourself you can't have it. I think sometimes the best answer is actually to just completely eliminate it. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it sucks. But then you think about, how much stuff do I have at home? You know, all the things I could do at home. I can go home and read a book. I can go home and get on the computer, watch YouTube videos. I can watch TV. You have options. Go get I know it's considered shopping, but you can go get a coffee. Do something that you can have your hands on something and sit down and relax and calm yourself down, because you won't make logical decisions when you're shopping. I almost did it today. I'm telling y'all to go get coffee, and I'm telling you the story, but I went to Barnes & Noble today. I got a coffee. After that Poshmark situation happened, I was so sad and frustrated about it. And so I got coffee, and I started walking around the bookstore. I'm like, I got this. I'm fine. I don't need no books. I know that. Y'all know where I ended up? At the book sales rack. Bad place to be. My emergency alarms were going off in my head. Back away from the sales rack. Back away from the sales rack. Anyway, so I started looking at the books, because of course if I look at them and they sound really good, then of course I'll read them when I get home. And let me just tell you, it took everything I had to pull myself away from that sales rack. And I had 2 books, and I was ready to buy both of those books, and they would have added up to about $16. I was like, well, they're on sale. They got a sticker price. These are good. These are good. So if you get yourself in a situation like that, another tip I have for you today is take your phone and take a picture of it. And this is absolutely a true story. If you really want that book, if it is really something you want and not a stress desire, you can order that off Amazon used tomorrow. Give yourself tomorrow. If I still want it, I'll order it. Not at the store, and not at that moment. If you can walk away, you can reason. So it told me a lot about myself and how far I've come with shopping, that I was able to walk out of that store today without those books. But I tell you what, for a minute there, I was like magnetized against the rack, and I felt like I couldn't move, because the desire to buy something was so strong and intense that I almost didn't defeat it today. So I am appreciative of how far I've come, and that I did not purchase anything but a coffee, but it just reminded me. It reminded me of how weak I still really am, and what a fight I know it is for many of you. So there's that. And let's see, what else can I tell you guys about? Okay, so one other thing I will complain about, and I know it's kind of tough when you're hearing people like complain and you're like, oh, but you have all this stuff behind you and you have like so much to be thankful for. Y'all, I promise you I know that. Like, I have a wonderful house with my boyfriend and pets that he didn't have to let live here, but he did. I have 6 pets, and I have food in the refrigerator and a nice TV in the living room, and it is more than I've ever had, ever. This isn't my first house, because I did have one with my ex-husband, but my name was not even on that house. There's so much about our marriage that was like really just, that's a whole other video. But the security in this relationship, it's like, for me, there's so much about this that is stronger than what I had before. So I am very thankful for this. But I also have a mental illness, I have depression and anxiety, and I do talk about it and I share it with you guys, because the struggle is truly real. It really is real. And A lot of YouTubers choose not to go here. They choose not to go to a dark place and not to speak out on camera. They choose to use lots of editing. They choose to use lots of pretty pictures and backgrounds and take pictures of their lives and post them on Instagram and Facebook and make you wish you were them and make you feel like something's wrong with you because you're not them, you know, and that is their choice to do that. I'm not them, and I don't have the energy to judge them. There was a time. Every once in a while, it does get to me. But I'm a real person, and this is a real house. And my Easter decoration right there, as cute as it is, I don't know if y'all noticed, Easter ended a couple weeks ago. Totally forgot to take those guys down. This room's a mess. Y'all see all that mess? So, it is what it is, but I feel like I need to film today, and I'm gonna film today. You know, it's just me being real. So, the last thing that I want to mention too that is kind of happening that I feel frustrated with, it's like, I may have already said this in the beginning of the video. We're at 20 minutes. I don't even know. I've been ranting so long. I appreciate the aid that is out there for people that are financially struggling. I'm gonna take another drink because this was $5. I don't want this to get cold. I appreciate the aid that is out there for people. There's not much of it. And there's one hospital that I go to that has a financial aid plan that will help you if you do not have an income or a very small income. They will give you coverage if you have an emergency. So that's amazing and that's wonderful, and I don't exactly know where that money comes from, but if people put money into those grants to help people like me, no, you're amazing. And I wish so many people, more people would be inspired to do that, because I can't even explain to you, like, to have a resource with help, how much relief that gives me. So when I got sick, like, a long time ago, do y'all remember that? Like, I was sick for months, I think, with, like, cough, and then it turned into a virus, and ended up at the hospital. When I went to the hospital, one thing you'll notice about going to the emergency room is very quickly they'll want to do a lot of different things. They first may want, depending on what the situation is, but if you're really sick and dehydrated, first thing they may do is give you an IV after checking your temperature, your blood pressure, and I think examining you, like a doctor coming in maybe and examining you. But I feel like all that happened before he even came in. So I feel like a nurse did most all this before he even came in. So I definitely had a couple of IVs. I had some medicine in my IV to help my pain at the time because I was so sick. And then they wanted to do tests on me because they were concerned about, like, different viruses. They wanted to do a pregnancy test, which they said was required, even though I was on birth control. So they did a pregnancy test. Y'all, I don't even know how much they charged me. I wish I had had a doctor pregnancy test and peed on a stick right there and I handed it to them, because the bills I got, like, okay, so we're gonna talk about this. They did a whole bunch of stuff. Be sure, if you go to the hospital, if it's not a critical emergency, if you're in a critical situation, you know, you can't help it. You have to do what you gotta do to save your life. But I was really sick, but I wasn't dying sick. I felt like I was dying. Looking back, I wish I had done a lot of things differently. They'll tell you, oh, your insurance will just bill you. They'll bill you. I've learned that those words are, like, also, like, alert to let me know you do not have the money for what's about to happen, you need more confirmation, or you do not need to do it. Basically, the only thing that is free about walking into a hospital is the front door that slides open. Yep. Once you get that little arm bracelet and you're admitted, that's a cost. I'm not kidding you. That's a cost. Once you see a doctor, that's a cost. Once they put an IV in you, that's a cost. And do a pregnancy test, that's a cost. And do an x-ray, that's a cost. It all balled up to, that day, I racked up, I think, around $4,000 for a couple hours in charges. And something they did in you know, and you're not thinking, you feel sick, and you're like, they're treating you, and I'm like, they have a financial aid program, I'm going to be fine, it's okay. I kept telling myself that. Looking back, I wish I had never stepped foot in that hospital. But they do have a financial aid program. They did cover all of my bills except for one. And I got a letter from them saying 100% of your bills are covered, you're good. The head of the director of the program said you don't have to worry about anything. Turns out that though I had x-rays at this hospital, though I put it in my financial aid packet that I needed it to cover, my x-rays, my tests, all this other stuff, though I was told to ignore all bills, the radiology department at this hospital is a separate billing department than the hospital. Does that make sense to anybody? My mind is just blown. I lost my English language for a minute. Like, it's just blown because I was told the wrong thing. And so basically I get this bill, and I'm just like, it's fine, we're told not to answer it. Finally I call them, and I'm just like, you guys, like, I got financial aid. The hospital's paying you for this. And they're like, the lady didn't even seem to understand what I was talking about. Long story short, again, they don't cover that. Turns out they don't cover that, and I wasn't told that at all. And again, I got a notice saying 100% coverage, but that billing department is like, no, that doesn't include us, like, we're not going to help you with that. And so immediately, again, you feel very defeated and alone and frustrated. So that bill alone is like $500. $500 we don't have. $500 we're gonna have to go on a payment plan for. Maybe it doesn't sound like that much, but it's a lot. With my boyfriend's house payment, I have a car payment, we have bills, we have medical bills, we have vet bills, we have credit card bills, we have student debt, and it's like, how do you get ahead? Like, how do you do this? Like, even if I were to have a job right now, and I've had plenty of jobs, y'all, plenty of full-time, overtime jobs in medical fields, so I know the struggle of that. I couldn't make ends meet. I couldn't make a meet by myself, and right now I just feel so, upset that I'm in a situation where I can't work because of my depression, and we have so many bills. I feel so defeated and sad about that. Now, in saying I don't work, I am doing Poshmark, and I am using that money towards reinvesting to make more money. I did pay for our gas to go on the trip recently to see my granddad. I paid for our food while we were on the trip back. The whole way back, I paid for that. I paid for one time we went in the thrift store and I bought the stuff that we picked out. So I was able to afford stuff from Poshmark that did help me, but I'm not at a place with Poshmark where it's making a lot of money yet. It's starting to, but it's not where I would like it to be yet. But stuff like that takes time. I don't think anything's wrong about that. I just think it just takes time. And we had a vet bill today because our, dog has an ear infection, Charlie, our Cocker Spaniel, ear infection and skin infection. So, there's that, and Snugs needed a rabies shot. That added up to a lot. So I do pet sitting, and pet sitting helps, and I have pet sitting scheduled, and I'm able to, like, drive to that and do that. So it's not like I'm not trying, but working a 9-to-5 job right now, it's not a possibility for me, guys, and I'm sorry to say that. Because I know a lot of people will keep telling me, like, don't you want to get a job? Like, I know that this appears strange to a lot of people, that I sit here and I can complain about not having money and that I can be supported and I can be okay with that. But the truth of the matter is, guys, I'm not okay with that, and I want that to be different. Now, I don't feel like I should have to owe anybody an explanation, and I know that comes out really harsh, but, it's personal information, and I don't feel like I have to really get into that, but at the same time, I do share this part of myself with you guys, or as much as I feel comfortable sharing. So I want to, really put it out there that if I get better, and I hope I do get better, and get on the right medication and get on the right track, and I'm able to, start gradually exercising again and start moving a lot more again, I want to work, absolutely. If Poshmark doesn't pick up, then, something else will change and I will apply somewhere else. I have a really low immune system. It makes it very hard for me to work with children, and medical situations are high stress, and because of my disorders right now, it is not a good scenario for me. You say, well, why don't you just go work down at, like, a fast food restaurant? There's nothing wrong with that. I know plenty of people that have done that. No shame. If anything, I am proud of people that work in fast food in any environment. I don't care how much you're making. Especially, I'm proud of minimum wage workers. Can I just say that? Because you're dealing with all these crappy people, all these employees that don't show up to work, all these customers that are unappreciative and snappy, and they don't think their food's coming fast enough, and I can't even imagine. Y'all don't make enough. I'm just saying that. That would not help my stress. That would not help this situation. I would be sick within 2 weeks from that stress. Physically sick, because that's how I get. So I have to be very selective of where I work. Somebody mentioned an animal shelter. That's a great idea. The kennel positions around here are just not that there's not many of them, and they're very low paying, like bottom of the barrel paying, and they want control of your life. Like, I've gone on a lot of interviews that y'all don't even know about, as many interviews as I've gone on, and they want you to work from like 7 till, you know, they want your availability to be Monday through Sunday, 7 to 6, available on emergency calls, available on all holidays, so they have control of if you get holidays off or not, and you usually don't. I worked Kindle for years, and I think I worked like 3 or 4 Thanksgivings and Christmases in a row. So people ask, where you at Christmas? Oh, I'm feeding the dog food to bowls right now, you know. That's where I was. I remember one day on Thanksgiving, I took a picture of all the Thanksgiving dinners I had made for the dogs. So I've been there, guys. I've been there. Muchos respect. I have trained people in that field. I have had volunteers with me in that field. Like, I've loved on the animals, but it is tough to figure out what to do. Right now. I'm just gonna put it that way. And I'm doing the best I can with what I have right now. So I'm really hoping, I'm putting a lot into this Poshmark, and I'm really hoping it's going to get going. I have a little bit of money now on my Poshmark, and I want to put it towards my car payment. I think that would help to get my car payment paid off, get that financial stuff down. So we're at like 30 minutes, and I'm just like, so thank you so much for like hanging out with me today and listening to me. I really appreciate you guys. And you know, I love listening to vlogs where people are having hard days, and I just play them and I just like listen, and I'm like, yeah, oh, yep, right here too, yeah. I get you so much, and very few people are willing to go there. Very few people. There are a few amazing channels out there that will, not even channels, like people out there. Sometimes we forget there's a person behind a channel. We just think of them as like a channel, but there are amazing channel creators out there that know that they love shopping, that know that they love hauls, that know that they love music or creating, but they'll take it there. They'll take you to that dark place, that dark day they're having, and they will share it with you. Not because they want to, not because it's fun, but because they want to know they're not alone, and they want to let other people know that they're not alone on their dark days like that. And it's really helped me over the past year to just like let it out, even if these are crazy long videos, and tell you guys like what's up, because this has been a week. Cheers, like I said. Anyway, guys, I will see you later, and thank you so much. Please give me a thumbs up for support of mental illness, of hard weeks. I know a lot of us are there right now and thinking about us, and you know, I believe there are ways to get through it, but I don't believe we can just sit in it, if that makes sense. I think you have to be actively looking for resources, for support groups, for trying to find a counselor that you can afford, making that call as hard as it is to make that call, because a lot of people that don't have depression don't understand. It's really hard to make phone calls. It's really hard to answer the door. It actually feels really scary to do things. Basic things that other people would never think twice about are really terrifying, at least for me. So anyway, guys, I'll see you soon. Appreciate you guys. Bye.